Hello, everybody. What's up? I'm Jay with Guilty of Crime, and we're back. There's a little lag. We're here. Good to go. Come on in. How you guys doing? Come on in. Hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't. Get a membership if you can. What is up? The real ones in the house. Are you the real one? Rose, Patricia, Alexis, Mods, Bren, arrest Jen the Gator Feeder. Right. Come on in, guys. We're on day 4 of Jen Soto in the spotlight. So come on in, come relax. I love having all you here. Thank you guys for supporting me and the channel. And I want to thank you for hanging in there this week. You guys know on Monday I started off sick. Synth helped me read the messages, and all week I've been dragging. But today I'm probably at my best. Tomorrow's day 5, arrest Jen Soto. And guys, I want to let you know that I have been working very hard behind the scenes to get Jen Soto arrested, to let her be held accountable. I've got everything in motion that needs to be, and I have several people in the media that I'm waiting to verify information so that we can run this story in Florida locally. Sorry about that. Let me turn this off. Locally in Florida and nationwide. All right. So arrest Jen Soto now. We're working on that. And it's a lot. It's a lot of work to do. Sometimes I think I bite off more than I can chew. But in this case, I'm going to make sure that we follow this through. So I want you to know that we're on day 4 of 5. Tomorrow we'll do call ins. And we're really just wanting to put Jen Soto back in the spotlight so that she knows and law enforcement knows that we're looking at her and we're serious. We're serious. And they're serious, I believe. So good news, lots of progress behind the scenes. Next week, I'll be filming new cases and I'll give you guys updates as they come. The wheels of justice move slowly, but in this case, they got to move a bit faster. So thank you guys for being here all week and putting up with me. Anywhere from being grumpy to who knows. Sometimes I get passionate, and y'all know. Sometimes you feel like I'm yelling at the screen or whatever. It's just my passion. So what's up? Good to see you guys, and come on in. Hit the like button so we can get this in the algorithm, and hopefully the Sotos can see this as well. So hopefully they see it. Hopefully they've already seen it. I got to tell you right now, it's good news when I get an email or a text from somebody that I was reaching out to, multiple sources that I've been reaching out to, media and law enforcement, that say, Jay, I watched your video. I watched it. Is that true? And if so, yada, 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 right? The questions that they have. So, guys, we're making huge progress, and I couldn't do it without you. So, thank you guys so much. Come on in, relax. We've got a thank you, Synth, by the way. You guys, please thank Synth for the 10 Guilty of Crime memberships. We are going to have to do a members only chat really soon. I promise. Maybe we'll do a members only live where we can talk more on a personal level. We could talk about crime con, what have you. I don't know. But I'm waiting for you guys to come on in. A brand new video came out yesterday. And you know, when you tag creators and give them the credit, it's awesome to see them recognizing and creating content. So brand spanking new video from Periscope, and it's exactly what we're looking for. Will immunity last? Soto admits Madeline Soto never slept alone. Now, this is the nail in the coffin here. Veriscope says that. I'm saying that this is really good. So when we watched the interview, we watched it on Tuesday, the immunity. Now it's getting broken down to the fullest and the nail in the coffin. So thank you, Veriscope, for listening, hearing us, and creating the content that we were hoping for, right? That's what you do. You tag creators and you get them on board with it. And I'd say Veriscope is on board. Soul Shine for Jesus Christ. Thank you so much for becoming a member. Good to see you. All right. Now, it's definitely not Friday Eve. But hey, happy Thursday. Happy almost Friday. All right. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I appreciate all of you. You guys help me to keep the channel going and just support the channel. So thank you. Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? When creators work together, There's nothing that we can't do. So that being said, thank you. Everybody supporting behind the scenes as well. It's been really tough working and taking interviews with people and getting things hooked up. So, all right, guys, it's Friday in Australia. Jade says, come on in, come on in. All right, so what we're here for, guys, is to hashtag arrest Jenn Soto, but we're here for the justice of Madeline Soto, and we want to make sure that her life wasn't taken in vain and she was not abused for all those years without having consequences from the person. The one person that should have protected her was Jenn Soto, and she failed, miserably failed. And that's unacceptable, guys. Unacceptable. If she was charged with the very least amount, let's just say she's an evil potato that sat on the couch growing all of her stems and horns, just growing out from being a lazy potato, she still failed her daughter, Maddie. So that has to be held accountable. You have to be held accountable when something like that happens. But that's not what I'm saying. I absolutely believe 110% she is guilty for so much more. All right, Mighty Joe, good to see you. Ashton, how you doing? Teresa's in the house. Crime Crew. Eve says, hit that like button. And thanks, Synth. All right, guys. Eilish, good to see you. Happy Friday watching from Australia. I wish it were Friday here. Yeah, possibly accessory after the fact, but I think there's going to be much more. I absolutely do. Anna, good to see you. I don't hold much hope for Jenn face justice in this world. And you know what? I wish I could show you what I have, but I can't. So patience is key here, and we'll have to wait until it comes out. And while we wait, we're not waiting. We're going to be covering other cases, right? It's what we always do. Kel, good to see you. Clar, my pleasure as usual. Kelly. All right, guys, let's get into this. Hashtag arrest Jenn Soto and brand new video. I love when brand new videos come out while we're doing a series. All right, so let's keep this going. This is starting off from the investigator asking her, when you go to bed at night, is there any kind of routine that you do with your phone? If you're texting, looking up TikTok, whatever. Now, this was her immunity interview that we went over in its entirety on Tuesday. All right, so that's what we're getting right into, jumping right in right now with brand new content. Thanks to Veriscope. All right, let's go.
How do you charge your phone? I charge my phone with my charger next to me on my side of the bed. Okay, is it one that you plug in or? My bed. Okay. Now, when you go to bed at night, is there any kind of routine that you do with your phone? If you're texting, look on TikTok or whatever, and you go to bed, you just set your phone down and go to sleep, or what's that routine like? I'll TikTok until I start dozing off, and then put my phone in the charger, make sure my alarm's on, and then just lay down, close my eyes.
Now, there's a reason why this pointed question is being asked to Jennifer Soto. It's not because we care how she sleeps or what she does with her routine, but it matters how she answers the question, number one. And number two, it matters because they can check by the pinging of a cell phone, by her different devices that she has linked up to it, to find out if that's what her normal patterns of routine are versus what her routine was that night. All right. And the way she's framing it here, you guys, feels very scripted. It feels like she's not talking about that night, but look at it's a phone routine discussion. All right. Just be afraid when you guys be afraid if anybody commits a crime, just realize that officers will look at your pattern for however long they need to. And then they'll look at that night that you did something and they'll be able to tell the difference, unless you're like really, really smart. And then in the case of Brian Koberger, who thought he was smarter, well, not so much, right?
Hope not to think of too much, just honestly.
Welcome, Michelle.
Okay, that night, Saturday or Sunday night, when you guys, when spending this half hour time together,
Thank you so much.
Was all you were doing was talking about gifts and counting her money, or were you guys doing anything else?
Serious. Thank you.
Just asking her for more details about the party and tell me like what I missed. She seemed like she had a really good time.
When you got home from work that day, where were...
Okay, so here we spot the words just, and we notice that she is using...
Now, you guys know just is a minimizer. If you're ever talking to your child or you're talking to a spouse and you're like, hey, I know there's a little white lie in there. And someone keeps saying just, and they're using this tone that she has where she sounds like, duh, 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 and she uses just. She's trying to minimize everything that she did that night. I doubt she's minimizing her routine. And when in fact she's minimizing what happened that night. Hashtag arrest the potato. Thank you, Jamie. I appreciate you. And who walks the dog for the night and what time? And in the morning, who walks the dog and what time? Well, what I tell you, Amy, is I guarantee that there is no routine on who walks the dog and what time. Although I would like to know that. All right, I would love to know that.
Minimizing language. In blue, we mark for reasons why. And we begin to see patterns of deception. In truthful statements, we don't see the same sort of color or number of flags that we see in deception. So far, nothing dramatic, but we are noticing an overuse of the word just.
Where was everybody?
I think everyone was in my room, hanging out in my room.
Okay, everybody meaning...
Okay, so this is the birthday party celebration which Jenn Soto didn't attend.
Now, remember, she didn't attend anything, didn't call 911, didn't make an impact statement. She did nothing. But here's the point in this video. Law enforcement and the media outside of YouTube is watching. They are watching our episodes right now and using this content to look over and see not only what we're discussing, what information's coming in that they don't know, but I assure you, I was surprised that they was like, Jay, I watched your video. I've got a lot of questions to ask you. And oh boy, by the way, I got to tell you guys, they're watching this. So it all counts. If anyone thinks that this is not important, I assure you it is. And all of your comments and questions are equally as important because they are looking over this from a new set of eyes. All right, let's keep going. But they are watching it.
She was at work, and Stephan Stearns was alone with her daughter, Madeline. And she's asked, when you get home from work that day, where was everybody? Jenn Soto, I think this is important. Her daughter's been murdered.
Yes, she is.
This was her daughter's birthday celebration, not the actual birthday date, but it was the celebration date, supposedly. I think everyone was in my room, hanging out in my room. This, I think, is unnecessary, and it's...
And we know it's not true because Stephan and her have had several different stories prior to this. And you got to think of the time frame that Jenn Soto says that she went home. She was there maybe by 10:30, and by 11 in her original story, she sent Maddie to bed with Stephan by 11. And she even texted before that to find out if Maddie was asleep. Or I don't know if it was before or after, but she texted and she did that. There's a reason for that. Rise Hamilton, shout out to you. What's up? She is so guilty. Claudia Salas, thank you. Where is Maddie's birthday money? Jenn Soto. And I missed that, but Jamie, thank you so much. If I miss one, I'll come back on it, you guys. It's so important that we do this.
Edging. And you would know exactly what was going on. You wouldn't need this pattern. So this sentence is deceptive.
Maddie and Stephan.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay, now look at this. Okay, so the detective, his gut feel, his unconscious, if he's not trained in forensic linguistics and statement analysis, and his experience picks up this, I think. And so he asks the question again. Okay, everybody meaning, oh, Maddie.
Why would Jenn Soto say, "Oh, Maddie and stuff"? We're only questioning about that particular night. Shout out to Sunny Days. You guys that were here with me from day one, I gotta tell you something. You guys know that we spent so much time trying to figure out Jen's routine and what time she'd get home. Was Stephan at the birthday? At some point, Court TV showed him in a balloon. We ran with that. Then we later found out the truth. So this story is ever changing, but this is the story that counts, and it's a story, in my opinion. This is the story that counts. This is the immunity story that is on record. All right, this is law right here.
And so we have that sensitivity marker stuff in my room. Sorry. And for those who have been following
Thank you.
forensic linguistics and statement and discourse analysis on the Veroscope channel, we know how often we see this. It doesn't seem very much, but once you've looked at a lot of deceptive statements, the percentage wise of how many times sorry appears is off the charts. Oh, Maddie, and stuff in my room. Sorry. So we have a
Now, real quickly, this was crazy because it was on the top of the deck. I wasn't even using the deception detective deck, which I just pulled out now. This is the Veroscope. It's the same thing, technically, of what deception detective is doing. So right when he said apologies, I'm like, oh boy, assessing apologies is a deception when someone apologizes. It's a good rule in life never to apologize. The right sort of people do not want apologies, and the wrong sort take it to mean an advantage of them. When you're evaluating an apology, discerning its sincerity is crucial, as insincere apologies often precede repeated offenses. To determine sincerity voluntarily, how you volunteer it, right? Was the apology compelled freely, or did it need to be given? Specificity. General apologies may lack genuine acknowledgement of specific wrongdoing, right? Priority. Was it directed at the actual victims or elsewhere? And responsibility. Is she taking responsibility for what she's doing, or is she trying to shift blame by apologizing? All right. So that is not ever good to do. And she's doing it. All right.
deception pattern in the sentence again. So in go the flags, and individual flags mean nothing. So as an example, these just, individually they mean nothing per se. But as we start to get clusters of these flags, and superclusters sometimes, we can then begin to determine if the statement is deceptive or not. For those that are new to the channel, a big welcome. If you're interested in learning statement analysis and forensic linguistics with Veroscope, we do have a membership. There's two levels.
And that's awesome. Thanks to Veroscope. You guys make sure you're subscribed to him. This guy's dropping content often, and it's really good. All right. So you please do that. Go subscribe to him. I try to support these content creators, like buying the deception deck. So I think I'll go check Veroscope out and get a membership as well. All right.
Just repeat the question. More times than not is buying cognitive time. So it makes whatever follows sensitive and more likely to have some form of deception in it. So he asks very clearly, what is Google Meet? And she says, what is Google Meet? So she's
Thank
She's
you.
concerned about the question and wants that extra second or two to come up with the answer.
That is like Google's version of FaceTime. So just FaceTime.
Okay. And here we have the just again. We have a reason why and the minimization and the sensitivity to what it's about. So it's videoing.
And I do appreciate everybody that's here. And I love when people have doubt, right? Obviously, it's been almost 2 years. They didn't talk any further. Signed, sealed, delivered. Stephan Stearns, 21 years. So when Bronx Yankee comes in and says, I'm on the fence, if cops and DA had something, they would have indicted. I appreciate that comment so much. I agree. And I think the reason that they're now looking back is because they did have something and they didn't indict because they focused on one person heavily, and now they're looking back and saying, oh, okay. And I assure you, Bronx, they are looking at Jenn Soto and they have approached Stephan Stearns, his defense team. So if that were the case, they wouldn't have done any of that. They wouldn't have put any effort into any of that if the case was closed and they didn't feel like Jenn Soto should be arrested. Rose, thank you for liking the channel. Teresa, good to see you. You would look really good in green. Same with Dawn. I love listening. I'm working on an art project. Just enjoying listening. Thank you. Shout out to all of you.
She is particularly sensitive about this. I wonder why.
Okay.
Video chat.
So much so that the sentence alone wasn't sufficient. She then has to reinforce it with video chatting. She had to buy more thinking time before she could answer. And the answer wasn't sufficient in her mind at the unconscious level, so she reinforces it.
Okay.
And before we get into the birthday party planning, which you guys just, I'm paying attention to every syllable, every word, every part that's deceptive. I'm paying close attention to, and I believe law enforcement is doing that now. I mean, initially, the first conversation was, well, Stephan Stearns lies all the time, so why believe him now? How funny would it be to have him testifying against Jenn? Well, cops realized that because he didn't speak up the first time and they have a second shot at listening to what he has to say and analyzing this, they can use this interview against Jenn Soto. So again, this is in the record. This is for the record. The other ones were on the record, but they weren't going to use it against her. This one, they can absolutely. Pepper.
When her birthday party was planned, was this planned before you got your job or after?
Yeah.
The birthday party?
Okay, so she's repeating the pattern of buying that little bit extra time to think.
His lawyers told him to shut up. As a matter of fact, Allie, when you first started listening to the interviews where Deb and Chris Stearns were introduced into this, do you remember they were talking to Stephan and they started talking about Jenn Soto? Well, his lawyers got pissed and said, you need to shut up and don't say a word. Now, does it mean that he should have spoke up anyway? Absolutely. But he was looking out for himself. And now he has nothing to lose. All right. So, I mean, better late than never. Yes, this is the interview, the immunity interview, and it's set in stone here. And this is brand new content. It came out yesterday.
And then says, I think it was planned before. Because once, and we have another reason why, I saw my schedule and I saw that then we have the break here. So this is her consciously deciding not to finish the sentence, but restarts a new sentence. So we call this self-censorship.
All right, real quick, guys, and I know I repeat myself a lot because I think people maybe don't hear the beginning. They hop in, they hop out. faith and repentance, and everybody else that's here. Law enforcement is working behind the scenes right now in this case. I think people didn't hear me, or they just think that I'm trying to do more Madeline Soto content. No, I want justice for Maddie. But before I even did this series, I said we are going to talk to law enforcement first and then go to the media. And that's exactly what we're doing right now behind the scenes. It's all happening right now. All right. So I don't know how fast they're going to move, but I know the media is very interested, and I'm also working with them. All right. I have an appointment with a media source tomorrow, right before I stream with you guys. So I promise you, all week long, I've been spending my extra time outside of work and here talking to law enforcement, talking to the media, and lining things up for the authorities to work on this behind the scenes. All right. So now that I said that in this episode, hopefully people hear it and we'll move on.
And in goes the flag.
Yep.
It was during a training day, and I wasn't going to call out. I considered rescheduling. So we have slight cognitive stress here. A decision about whether or not to carry on the sentence, probably the party, but my family was insistent to just keep it that day.
Thank you.
And this isn't sufficient. So I said, okay. So the paragraph is deceptive in the fact that we have too many I thinks, justs, reason why. Yeah. So we would say that this is not only a deceptive, but also very, very sensitive to her too. She asks, so she buys more time. I think it was planned before. She would know.
Hey, good to see you.
I wonder why. Let's hear her finish that sentence.
Planned before,
You're welcome.
because once I saw my schedule and I saw that it was during a training day, and I was going to call out. I considered rescheduling the party. My family was insistent to just keep it that day. I said, okay.
Okay, so can you see how at conversational speed, a lot of this can go over your head?
Me too.
But with practice, and certainly during the training, we learn how to analyze at conversational speed so that we can spot deception amongst work colleagues, relationships, dating, friends, bosses, suppliers.
And I mean, just a guess, just an uneducated guess. Why would that be an important question? Think about this. They got Jenn Soto in there to do an interview with them. They didn't call it interrogation. They called it an interview, and they gave her immunity. Why would they take that opportunity to ask that question unless they were thinking that there's something premeditated? She didn't want to be there. Something was going on. You're not going to waste your hour of interview time to ask her that question unless you know that you have something behind that you're looking for. And the patterns of her sleep, what are they looking for behind that? Yeah, I can't risk it. That's what I ask myself while listening to this.
Contractors, being able to find deception around you is such an important life skill and saves so much trouble. I would definitely advise you to learn as much as you can about this. So if you haven't yet subscribed, please do. But more importantly, the notification bell, which will share this analysis with more people.
Mm-hmm.
And ultimately, we're hoping to get more people involved in this analysis so that in the chat, we can learn from each other and build on each other.
Exactly. Veriscope, we love you. If you guys aren't subscribed to him, you definitely should be. What's up, Melissa Johnson? Good to see you. That's what we're doing here. It helps us to be brainstorming and looking this over. And I got to tell you, I wouldn't be doing a 5-part series on her if it was just nonsense. I wouldn't be doing this at all. I wouldn't be wasting my time or yours if there was nothing else happening about it. I just wouldn't. So again, thank you guys for being here. I wonder what color her prison jumpsuit would be. Oh, I cannot wait.
Those observations. Let's carry on with the analysis.
All right, so Stephan moves out of his room, and I think he mentioned that your dad had plans on renting that room again to somebody else. Is that right? Yeah. How was that room set up?
Good to see
How
you,
was Stephan's room set up after he moved out?
Pretty much the same. The bed was in the same location. The TV, the dresser, the desk, and the mini fridge. Everything stayed in the same location.
Okay, what?
Okay, so pretty much they spoke over each other pretty much, so we can't necessarily say it's sensitive. She repeated it because he spoke over, but normally we would wonder why she had the break and then repeated. In this case, we can forgive it because she was spoken over. The bed was in the same location, the TV, but here we can't. The dresser, the desk, and the mini fridge, everything stayed in the same location.
Was the bed, and did it have comforter, blankets?
There's gotta be evidence that they've collected pictures, that they have certain things, and there's reasons why they're asking her. And Dr. Latina, thank you so much for the 5 Guilty of Crime memberships. I always love your commentary. I can't wait to see what you got here today in chat. All right. What's up, Sia? Good to see you. I hope you're feeling better. I've been sick all week too.
And all that stuff on it, or?
Dale, shout out. What's up, man?
When he moved out, everything was empty. There was a mattress protector cover on it. Mm-hmm. But I had clean sheets and clean blankets to put on, like they're available. So
where were they available?
Okay, this is interesting, isn't it?
Very interesting.
There was a mattress protector cover on it, but I had clean sheets and clean blankets to put on, like they're available. So, and also we had a long pause.
Oh, Kathy, how you doing, my friend? Veriscope stopped by here on Monday and said, what's up? I tag him in the content, and he knows that we're looking to arrest Jenn Soto. He even came out with a new video. So he's trying to work with the community, and he says, hey, we want people in chat to come up with ideas. And in his description, it says the same. He points at specific channels that need to watch this and share. So if he wasn't happy with me, I don't think he would have stopped by. I don't think he would have made this new content for us to share on this Arrest Jenn Soto crusade. So thank you for asking that. I appreciate that. That's nice of you. I've also been sick all week, dizzy, can't eat, laying in bed. Well, honeybee, I hope you feel better. All right. Thank you. Oh, I'm just letting people know. Exactly, Sonny. There's a few in there. So you guys beware. We've been in here all week long, and you know, we're at it. Sometimes we get thrown off guard. Be nice to everybody in chat today. Oh no, I didn't mean to do that. Minimization. Hold on, let me go back to this real quick. Birthday party planning, Stephan's room.
Flag. It was during a training day, and I wasn't going to.
Okay, we got past
also
that.
Very, very sensitive to her too.
All right, now we're in Stephan's room. I'm sorry.
And certainly during the training. Let's carry on with the analysis.
Okay.
All right, so Stephan moves out of his room, and I think he mentioned that your dad had plans on renting that room again to somebody else. Is that right? Yeah. How was that room set up? How was Stephan's room set up after he moved out?
pretty much
That's what,
pretty much the same. The bed was in the same location. The TV, the dresser, the desk, and the mini fridge. Everything stayed in the same location.
okay, what,
Okay. So pretty much they spoke over each other pretty much. So we can't necessarily say it's sensitive. She repeated it because he spoke over, but normally we would wonder why.
That definitely irritated him. He's like, I can't analyze that. Let's go a little bit forward. We're on the bedding. The bed linens discussion is the most critical part of this interview, and it's locked in. It's on record. It was her one-time immunity. Remember, they said they can't charge her, but if they find out she's lying, then game on. All right. This mess is one big trigger. I still don't understand why this person wasn't charged. Poor Maddie, taken advantage of for, I'll just say, years. All right.
When he moved out, everything was empty. There was a mattress protector cover on it.
Mm-hmm.
But I had clean sheets and clean blankets to put on, like they're available. So
where were they available?
Okay, this is interesting, isn't it? There was a mattress protector cover on it, but I had clean sheets and clean blankets to put on, like they're available. So, and also we had a long pause here, and
I'll try not to rewind again, but this is the reason I brought this into it, because he says, Veriscope said it's the most critical part. And I didn't even think about this part. I kept thinking about that white room and Jenn setting up that white room so that you can't recognize anything in the CSAM pictures, right? All right. But I didn't think about any of this.
detective has asked the question for a reason. So I think she is a little concerned about the bedding and the bed sheets and the fact that they're clean. Here we have, you see, a lot of these, our words are chosen at the unconscious level, and the brain knows all that it knows. It knows everything that the deceiver is keeping from you. And because we choose the words rapidly, unconsciously, unless you stutter, in which case your method of choosing words is consciously versus if you don't stutter, I stutter a little bit, but if we don't stutter, then the words are chosen unconsciously. It's actually one of the solutions to stuttering, learning how to choose words unconsciously. So let's carry on.
in the closet.
I didn't even think about any of this. I thought when I saw the pictures, I thought that everything was being washed. I didn't think about the fact that law enforcement must have taken some of those things as well. And I didn't understand why she had that mattress cover on either. I don't know. I don't know if it's just a thing that she did, but it has significance. And Maddie didn't have a room. She had a partitioned piece of the upstairs.
And I did, yeah. Now that I know they were there.
Do
you see the
Right.
sensitivity in her statement there? And I did, yeah. I let him know they were there.
you know if he made the bed?
What's up, Deb? Good to see you.
I don't know. That's what you're assuming.
What did
There's definitely a problem with the bedding and the sheets. The long pause.
Yeah, I thought that too, and I saw how everything was cleaned up and removed, and we heard about them doing the laundry. So there's a combination of evidence that they collected, and then there's a combination of the laundry that was probably in the midst of being cleaned. Right? Stephan said he was doing laundry. Then Jenn was, in my opinion, creating her alibi / cleaning up the crime scene. All right, let's keep going.
She's calculating. I don't know, but I'm going to assume, but I don't know. What is the problem with the bedding and the sheets and the blankets?
The blankets look like that would be used to make that bed.
They would be white cotton linen sheets with, they're white, but they're white stripes, different shades of white, so white stripes going down it. That was a fitted cover, then a sheet, and then the pillowcases. And
I didn't even realize when we watched this the first time, you all, I did not realize how many times that she said and just, and I mean I didn't even realize that. This was an hour and 1 minute interview that we watched and broke down on Monday, and just, I mean, the verbiage, I can see why law enforcement does this. I really hope they take a second look at this portion of the interview. GB, what a wonderful compliment. Law enforcement tell you they're watching your site and members so closely. What an accomplishment and true worthiness. Thank you. I appreciate that. We're all here for the same thing, right? Justice for Madeline Soto, and hashtag arrest Jenn Soto. We if we can make that happen or help in any way, that's what we're here to do. All right.
should have been like a warm blanket in the closet somewhere.
Right.
Come on, y'all. Hit that like button. Drop some comments.
White. In a very short sentence.
Yep.
There's a problem. There's a problem with the bedding.
What's the problem?
Fitted. It's very stressful for her to talk about this.
See, you gotta love this. I don't think that any of this happened at all. I mean, we had a 1 hour and 1 minute, and we were listening and breaking it down in a completely different way. When you see those words on the screen and you hear that she is stressed out, you can tell there's a stressor. And even when she laughs, I believe that's like a stressor laugh. All right, I cannot wait. Oh my goodness.
Let's carry on.
The same color, white or
Gray.
okay. When you say there's pillowcases, how many pillows were on the bed?
Smash. Yeah. Again.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
She says that a lot,
This
guys.
pause.
She actually says that a lot, is I'm not sure, or I don't know, or she goes back and says she just doesn't remember. That happens quite a bit in this interview. And I think because she doesn't want to get locked in. I don't hear her attorney saying much, so I wonder if she was looking at him for specific questions and then hesitating. I don't hear him. Sometimes you'll hear an attorney, and in the transcript they'll say don't answer that or don't say whatever. He doesn't say anything. This is like a freebie pass for law enforcement to talk to Jenn Soto. Remember, she refused to take depositions in the Stephan Stearns trial, and they moved the trial. There was no trial, but they moved the case so fast. You guys know that are true crime people. It can take 5 years to even get to trial. They didn't get to trial. They went all the way through, did the plea deal, 21 life sentences, and bam, a year and like 7 months later, it's all done. No, that's not right. All right. Kid Cash, she doesn't want to clean after the dog, gets nervous. She didn't want to clean after Maddie. There's so many. I agree. And when you look at it from this perspective, it's just bad. It's so bad.
It's extremely long, and the tonality and pitch and tone.
I would say.
I'm not sure. There's an element of I'm not going to get caught tonality in this sentence from my experience. I'm not sure.
She doesn't know much,
of
does she?
Arrogance. I'm not going to answer that one because I'm not supposed to know, because I never go up there.
True.
Or look.
True.
Unless it's to do the laundry.
That is very true. You remember in the last interview we watched, Jen Soto said two things at the same time that can't be true, right? That she said she called Maddie's phone. She got caught on that, calling Maddie's phone, but then having Maddie's phone in her hand. And what she did was she said, "Oh, yeah, I forgot that I had it. I was going to give it to her and scold her for not taking it." Well, not really scold, just tease her, which that's a lie. Had Maddie would have been home that day and that actually happened where she left her phone, I'm pretty sure Jen would have been raging at her. By the dynamics that I hear and the way Jen Soto always puts Madeline Soto down and tells us all the negative things about her, you bet right she would have called and been like, or she would have went and picked up Maddie and be like, "Take your phone. You caused me to sit out here in this car for an hour. I can't believe you." She wasn't going to wait to joke with her and then hand her phone and then say, "Oh, honey, let's go get dinner. What would you like?" No, that's not the Jen Soto that is Jen Soto at all. So that seems like a lie. That's a huge lie. You can't do two things at once. And so many times she's doing two things at once.
She said in a previous statement.
I never go up there.
Orange County officers. A separate interview to this interview, which is the interview where she's given immunity for her statement.
I know that we had taken things out of that room before. I don't know if we used those pillows. I'm not sure if we observed there.
Okay, did you ever go into the room after you discovered that she was missing? Did you go upstairs to that bedroom?
I always want interviews.
Okay. Was that her lawyer? Because it certainly wasn't her, was it?
Oh, we did hear her lawyer.
So she hasn't answered this question.
She did slip up there. The lawyer intervened a little bit. And then you look here. First, we talked about the bedding, which, by the way, she said she never went up there. And then, guys, in a different statement, she said that when she went up there, she was on the computer or sitting in the room going over something. She also knew exactly what was in the room. She knew the 9mm was there. She knew the lube, the tripod. She definitely contradicts herself greatly in this interview about going upstairs in the discovery. And in segment 8, it looks like this is a smoking gun that he's talking about. Okay, did you ever go into the room after you discovered that she was missing? Did you go upstairs to that bedroom? She says no. Does anybody believe that she did not go upstairs? Anybody believe that whole day, the entire day while Maddie was at school and Jen was having these chit chats with Stephan and whatever that was going on, anybody believe that she never went upstairs? Well, how did she know a lot of things that she did? All right, Jay, and incompetent as Jen, Maddie, was she doing her own laundry? And she said that too. She also said that Maddie does her own laundry, didn't she? Well, I think she said it one time, but she gave us like a half answer. I mean, they wouldn't be asking these pointed questions if there weren't a reason.
The lawyer did. And that would explain. I'm not sure. She's refusing to answer. This is the mother of a murdered child, and she's not cooperating.
It looks like she is. It looks like she's cooperating by getting a lawyer and going to talk to them, but she doesn't give them any more information, guys. She doesn't even give them information about Stephan Stearns, which she could have certainly went in there and said something about, that night I realized there was something weird. The vibe was off, or, you know what? I didn't go up there at all. I didn't go up there. I got home at 10. They came downstairs by 11. I got home at 10, settled in, ate my pub sub. And by 11, they already went to bed. I don't know what she was wearing. I don't know what happened. I was sleeping. I didn't see her in the morning. I don't know. I only know what Stephan told me. That's what she doesn't say. This is what she's saying instead.
So when you go to sleep in your room, and you're either with Maddie or without Maddie or with Stephan, is your door open, closed, lights on, lights off?
When I go to sleep?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, what's up?
I can't.
When you go to sleep,
Me too.
When I go to sleep, the detective says, mm-hmm. So again, the same observation.
Now, I think law enforcement realizes at this time that she's not going to be honest with them. They're not going to get a straight answer if they literally just say, okay, Jen, you said you got off at 10, you got home by 10:30. It got to take you at least 10, 15 minutes to eat your pub sub, change into your clothes, and get in bed. How is that last 15 minutes that you watched Sister Act for a little bit, went over and looked at Maddie's gifts, talked about her presence and how her party was and that she liked it? How in the hell did you do all of that, number one, in that short of time, number two, without going upstairs? Just, I guess there's probably more, 3, 4, 5, but how did that happen? You guys have to think about that while we're listening to this. She said she got off of work at 10. That means she got home about 10:30. By 11, she sent Maddie up to bed. And I think there's a verified text message from her to Stephan that might show that. Now, we don't know where the pinging came from, and I think that's why they're asking about, yeah, she counted money too. So all of that in that time, really? That's what they're trying to figure out. They're trying to get answers from her without just asking her, what did you do? Where were you? They're trying to like rearrange the questions. There you go, Jay. Edgar, you said I'd all. Edgar, you said I'd all. She should have. Huh. I'm not sure what that meant, but if you send it again, I'll take a look.
Very often when they repeat the question, they're buying extra thinking time. So it doesn't necessarily mean so. It could be just a turn of phrase or how the person speaks, but in goes the flag.
I agree with that.
Marker flag.
We've talked about that. I can't believe
and we've got
that
a lot
was
of them, haven't we? Just in this short part of the transcript.
Can't shut the door. I have to leave it cracked. So it's leave cracked.
True.
With a little like a door stopper behind it, so it doesn't open all the way because I got just trying to open. Yeah, let me see the door cracked.
Okay, lights on, lights off.
Lights off.
So she's overall, it's stressful for her to talk about
the sleeping
how
arrangements.
They go to sleep in this room.
I go to sleep. I have a cat. I can't shut the door.
In innocent statements, we don't have this broken pattern.
Again, you guys, it sounds like this. If you close your eyes and you listen to Jenn talk, or you listen to Stephan talk, or you listen to both of them tell their stories, it's just like it looks on the screen. Duh, duh, duh. Now, another thing. Why would you need to explain this? If someone says, they ask the pointed question, did you go upstairs? Or let me say, what's the pointed question? Is your door open or closed, lights on or off? And she goes into this. Why talk about your cat? She's trying to validate the fact that she was a mother that cared and she paid attention to what they were doing upstairs, is what she's trying to say. They're asking her what happened. Was your door open? Was it closed? They're trying to get to the point of, did she know what was happening with the CSAM? Because at this point, they had already looked over the CSAM. They saw pictures of Maddie and Stephan. They saw pictures of where he was doing that, whether it was in room 4 with all the locked doors or wherever it was. And she's trying to justify to them, instead of just answering the question and saying, yeah, I sleep downstairs. I crack my door. I just want to make sure everything's okay. She tries to validate it. Oh, well, the cat, I have to have it open because the cat, I can't shut the door. And then she says, she's already said that 3 times. So I have a cat. There's 1. I can't shut the door. There's 2. I have to leave it cracked. And then she goes into, so it's cracked. There's 4 times, 4 separate sentences where she's justifying what she did. And it was just a question. It was one freaking question. I didn't even count the rest of them. This makes me mad.
Can you see how this is cognitively broken? And we tend to only get this in deceptive statements. A little like, reason why, minimizing.
See? 5
questions,
and a minimizing.
Question.
And then she asks a question.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
So we got 6. I only counted 4. I didn't get to the second line again. Think about this too. If you ever ask your child, you get up, right, and you find your kid in the kitchen, right? You find your kid in the kitchen and they're standing there with cookie crumbs, and you say, "Did you just eat a cookie?" And then they reply back to you, "Mom, did I just eat a cookie? No, I didn't eat a cookie." And they got crumbs right there. That's exactly what she's doing right there. She's after she gives 5, 6 excuses and a minimizer, she then repeats a question with the question. It's giving her time to think about the lies that she's going to continue telling, or to think about the story and make sure she repeats the story and doesn't let anything else out. What's up, Lisa? Guilty of crime and chat. I'm so late. Gonna go back from the beginning. GOC chat, catch up, beginning. Thank you. Appreciate you.
Sensitive, 7, 8,
Thank
9.
you.
Short sentence. So 9 deceptive flags in a short
Interesting.
sentence gives
That's
us sufficient to
What? Why do you ask me if I
determine
ate a
that the
cookie?
paragraph is deceptive in nature. We have clusters.
With a YouTube video playing in the background, playing rain
I'm
sounds.
not sure about that.
Okay,
Since
would the screen be illuminated, or is it something where it's screen like a phone, where the screen goes black and it's the place?
It goes black and
Okay. Do you remember it happened that night if you were listening to those YouTube videos, or?
probably was.
Okay, interesting, isn't it? Now, the detective has got her to say that this is what happens when they go to sleep. They play the
Now, listen real quick. I did an interview with Jenn Soto's roommate. It was the roommate before all of the other roommates upstairs, right? It was the roommate when Juan still lived there. It was the roommate that told us right out of the gate. And by the way, we hit 555 in chat. Please say a prayer that Jenn Soto is arrested and Maddie gets the justice she deserves. Please. Jade, thank you for saying that right there. We did an interview with Jenn Soto's original roommate that lived there, with Juan being downstairs, Jen being upstairs, Maddie being upstairs, and Stephan and them just starting to date. This roommate told us before Jen did that all 3 of them were always in the bed together. They were in the bed together all the time, whether they're watching TV, whether it was the middle of the day, whether they were sleeping. It was all 3 of them in the bed. Now that brings me to say to this question. I asked that roommate, did you leave your door open, or how did it make you feel when you saw Jenn Soto, Stephan Stearns, and Maddie always in the bed together, knowing the stuff Jen would talk shit about with Stephan? Oh, I don't know. He's sloppy. He doesn't have a job. That's the kind of stuff she would tell the roommate. But when you ask the roommate, did you leave your door open, or how'd you feel? Were you concerned? She goes right to it. She says, yes, I left my door open. I was very concerned and I want to make sure I didn't hear any weird noises. That's a straight up answer. When you ask Jenn Soto if she left it open, oh yeah, I definitely had to leave it open. My cat. Oh yeah, for sure. I left it cracked because the cat's got to get out. Oh yeah, I left it. Yes. Yes. Did I leave it up? I mean, come on. Like, that's how you answer it. Because Simi says, I'm eating dinner thinking of the donkey in bed with anyone puts me off my food. The donkey gums.
YouTube video with the rain sounds. And it appears like she might subscribe to YouTube, because if you subscribe, then you can turn the screen off and it will still play.
Yo.
It goes black. Yeah, still on. I believe that should be. Do you?
And listen, she's sitting there talking about how she leaves her door open because of the cat. I think she listened to those sounds to drown out the other sounds that were happening. If law enforcement actually were to tell us how many CSAM pictures were created in that household and which rooms and which areas, I guarantee you that Jenn Soto was using that, in my opinion, to drown out the sounds that she didn't want to hear. Think about that. That's not a good thought, but
Remember? So were you listening to the YouTube video on the night that your child was murdered?
Amen.
She thinks, because I wonder if the detectives are able to look at the YouTube history on the phone.
And they will be, but again, they weren't focusing on her. They're just trying to validate certain points. All right. So, but they didn't focus on her, in my opinion, or they wouldn't be doubling back. They would say, no, don't even waste your time. Jenn Soto, we've looked at her, we've cleared her, case closed. Get out of my hair.
She hedges and says, I mean, you would know, wouldn't you?
Oh, wow.
You would absolutely know. With such a traumatic event, you would know what you did. She says, probably, in my experience, worried about the trap. Long pause. Was I listened to it every night? So I probably was. Because if something had happened and there's trauma inside the house and you need to plan what you're going to do in the morning,
yeah, that
the
too.
plan was to go
That
to
too.
McDonald's after getting up so extremely unordinarily early.
Like 2 hours before they needed to. And again, this was part of the script, in my opinion, right? The McDonald's thing that didn't pan out, and they would have been able to check cameras, but ultimately they did check cameras. And I don't know why Stephan, I think he was in an absolute haze, because throwing away those things at that complex, there's cameras everywhere. We've seen it, right? We've showed you images of the complex. We've showed you images of the trash can that have cameras right outside of them. I don't know what happened, how it got so sloppy, other than some kind of panic that happened in this. Again, we know when they found Maddie's body, it was because of the flat tire. Otherwise, I think he would have went out much further. It wouldn't have been right there in the open, unless he really did want her body to be found. I don't know.
And the plan was for Stephan to drive Madeline to school.
The whole woods thing.
And in their linguistics, the plan, I believe, had changed from them both taking it, because when they're both in her mother's office, in the linguistics, they make mistakes and say we dropped her off, I dropped her off, etc. So they're making linguistic mistakes. So I believe if this wasn't happening, if she wasn't listening to raindrops on YouTube, but actually there was far more trauma going on, such as butting heads.
I mean, the questions that they're asking are down to the detail, and there's got to be a reason. Why even ask, does it shut off automatically, unless they had already looked at her electronics and like, why does this time stop? Why is it stopping at this time? And then maybe they're trying to narrow in on the time of Maddie's passing, right? I don't know. I don't know yet why they're pointing those particular questions and what evidence that they have. But yeah, thank goodness for the flat tire. But I do wonder, I just wonder with Stephan and whatever mindset he was, I wonder if he did want to kind of put her not too far out where they would never find her body, right? Had he taken her to the Gators or farther out, they wouldn't have found her. And the only reason, guys, that they even talked about or brought up Maddie wanting to live in the woods is because that was the last fight, so to speak, the text messaging fight where Maddie and Jenn were going back and forth at each other, and Jenn was being a complete bitch to Maddie, and Maddie says, well, I'm gonna go move when I'm 13. I'm going out to the right. We saw that the cops came up to the door. She went and got Maddie's phone, held it out like this, and yeah, the friend talked about that too. So the only reason they brought that up is because it was backed up in text messages. I don't think Jenn really wanted law enforcement to know how much her and Maddie butted heads and how they fought, right? And again, you got to remember, if Jenn and Maddie and Stephan, they had this weird three people, and Jenn is upset because Maddie and Stephan have this close bond. She's teasing her about an electric complex. There's going to be a lot of tension in that household.
That's the phrase that Stephan uses. This might be why we're seeing this hedging, because she knows that this didn't happen. But it normally does.
I agree with that right off the bat. Just to lock
Interesting,
her
isn't
up.
it?
Just lock her up.
I listen to it every night, so I probably will.
Does it shut off automatically?
Yeah.
Around
usually.
like 4 or 5 a.m. But then I'll notice that I'll press play again.
Okay. Is it fair to say that you're easily woken up or no? But
Yeah, so the detective should have asked, okay, so in that case, do you remember if you press play again, and see whether or not we had a repeat of the hedging language?
And guys, I have a feeling that the 4 to 5 a.m. is the closer time to where Maddie's life was gone and they were shuffling and cleaning up. Again, I think it's just leakage, pure leakage that came out of Jenn. I've always said I think Maddie passed anywhere between 2 a.m. and 4 a.m. just on the condition of her body and the way Stephan moved her around, the way her mouth was open in the car where they saw her sitting in there seatbelted with her head slumped and her mouth wide open. I have a huge suspicion that 4 to 5 a.m. that she's bringing up here is a leakage, and that's the time that her video stopped or the movement moved somewhere in the house. There's a reason for it. Jenn ever fell asleep? Yeah, Jenn always fell asleep, but was she woken up by this or was she part of it? That's the question. What was she doing at that time?
This is the advantage of learning this skill at conversational speed, because you can confirm whether you're being deceived by the person or not.
but it sounds like that, or
Exactly. Exactly. Oh, it's a what a bummer. I got to answer another question about my daughter that's no longer with us to lock up the perpetrator. No, that doesn't sound like that.
Okay, she didn't like that question. She goes,
She
the
did.
Soto sigh. She didn't want to answer this question. We have a long pause combined with that sigh that she uses. Because if you're easily woken up by sounds like that, then would she have heard?
And here's the thing that I cannot wait to come out, Mighty Joe. I cannot wait. I really, truly, the bottom of my heart cannot wait until law enforcement either comes out and says we've made a case, right? They do a presser about Jenn Soto, or they come and do a presser and say Stephan lied about the whole thing. Jenn wasn't involved. She's cleared. That's what I want to happen. Whether that's the case, whether Stephan was the master manipulator and is still trying to manipulate it, we're going to find out one way or the other. And law enforcement will update us on this. They don't want us, they don't like online sleuths. They don't want us making videos about Jenn Soto being possibly arrested and media people reaching out to find out if the case is closed. They don't want this stirred up if nothing's happening. They will clear it up, and they won't be talking to Stephan. They won't be going back. So I cannot wait until either or happens. All right. And I'm for it. I'm all for anything that happens with this. Whatever they say, I'm all for it. I'm ready. I'm ready for them to tell us and then put it to bed. All right. And I believe that Jenn Soto was absolutely, I always said she's the puppet master in this.
The murder if she wasn't involved in it. She's thinking.
Yep, that's it. Either clear her or arrest her. Done. That's it. We don't want to keep doing this.
She didn't want to answer. And then a little timid mouse. I don't know. Just picked up on the audio. Deceptive pattern.
oh, the purpose of you telling or having Maddie sleep with Stephan upstairs is because you told me before that you needed a good night's sleep. if you needed this kind of sleep previously to when Stephan wasn't there, what would happen?
You mean if Stephan wasn't there and I needed this good night's sleep?
Okay, so
Again, guys, before I even finish this next sentence of his, he finishes it. She re-asked the question with the question. He asked her a straight question. Now look at here, guys. It says investigator. He literally says okay to her last one, and he's got two lines here, one sentence and then the next. This one sentence, Jenn Soto takes all of this to explain herself, to pause, to try to justify one sentence. They said, now, this purpose of you telling or having Maddie sleep with Stephan upstairs is because you told me before that you needed a good night's sleep. If you needed that kind of sleep previously to when Stephan wasn't there, what would happen? All right. And I'll let him finish this, but look at this, how long it took her, and then re-answer the question, right? You would clearly just say, if he said, what about sleeping there? What'd you do when you needed sleep before? You would answer. You would say, I told Maddie to sleep in her half bedroom, or I put her on the other side of the bed and I crashed. It's a straight up question. They're not asking anything that's not common. She knows the answer. She's already been asked this, and the investigator gives her the answer. He literally just gave her the answer, and yet we're still looking at this. We're still looking at this. Why?
So again, we have this pattern, don't we? She repeats the question. You mean if Stephan wasn't there and I needed this good night's sleep? Mm-hmm.
Thank you,
buying
Teresa.
thinking time.
Thank you. Guys,
It's a
hit that
very
like
good
button.
question. You see, she said that she came home from ignoring her child's birthday party late from work.
Exactly.
And then ate some food in her room.
Possibly.
And claims that maybe they were all hanging out in her room. And then she sends her child, Madeline, to bed with this man upstairs.
So.
And her claim was because I needed a good night's sleep. And the detective asked this wonderful question. So if you needed this kind of sleep previously,
right,
to when Stephan wasn't there, what would happen?
Simple question,
she
Jen.
Can't come up with the answer straight away. So she uses her technique. You mean if Stephan wasn't there and I needed this good night's sleep? He says,
again, guys, hey, you go down and you see little Betty Joe in the cookie jar, and you say, hey, Betty Joe, did you eat that cookie over there? Oh no, why do you ask? And I was just sleeping. I just came out of the bathroom. I didn't have time to eat a cookie. That's what she's like. She's like a little kid that needs time to think and restates the questions. I think I continue to be attached to Maddie is the injustice of her mother being free. Absolutely. I think that's why we're all here. Eve, you're right. I wanted her arrested when they had enough to properly charge her so that we don't have another Casey Anthony. 100%. As a matter of fact, I've been following Casey Anthony since I covered her a couple of times, and that lady is all over, what is it, TikTok or X? I think it's TikTok she's on, one of those platforms, and Casey Anthony is all vocal and out there again. We don't want that to happen with Jenn Soto. All right, while I have you guys pause, do me a favor, hit that like button, drop a comment, get a membership if you can. All right, we're always giving away memberships, merchandise. I'm going to give some memberships away right now. So hit that like button, throw a comment, make sure you're gifted memberships on so you can accept gifts. All right. Alexis says there's no closure if there's no justice. Hashtag arrest Jenn Soto. Clementine, I was a lucky winner of the Foxy Box, and I could say it made my day. I agree. It's definitely. So you guys get in there. Let's get you guys winning something. We will be giving away memberships now and then other things soon. Randy B, much love to you. All right. One question. Sweet Leaf, Jay, did Maddie beg Aunt to stay with her? No, it wasn't the aunt. It was Grandma. She did not want to go home from Grandma Yolanda's house. I don't know anything about her begging her Auntie Stephanie. And Auntie Stephanie doesn't like any of us here, just so you know. She doesn't like any of this that's happening. And she, in my opinion, I don't think she thinks Jenn is guilty. So, yeah, I would never hear from her. She does not like me or anybody that's on this side. I wish I could tell you why, but just say she wouldn't accept a gift if we offered it to her. All right, let's keep going.
Yeah. And then she says, it depends. This is another phrase which we
I'm
recognize
gonna give memberships,
in
guys.
deception detection. This is buying more cognitive time to think of the answer. So we've got, give me more time to think of the answer. Give me even more time to think of the answer. And then she says, if I had missed my meds the way I miss them at night, so we've got cognitive overload, sentence doesn't have any structure or make any sense, and I wasn't feeling, or I was feeling just minimization, how I was feeling. Look at the panic in the linguistics. I'm not sure minimization, if I would have had her sleep, it is have her sleep with me on the other side of the bed, or if I would have sent her upstairs to the guest room. But reason why, she sleeps like a monkey.
Excuse.
She sleeps, she rolls, she'll start on one end of the bed and end up on top of me by the end of the night. And she's a gymnast, I guess, but
All right. So how many times did she? How many sentences are in here? Number one and number two. If you guys are already asking yourself this, ask yourself this: why would Jenn Soto tell law enforcement that Maddie slept like a monkey, hung out all over, moved like a gymnast, and then in another sentence tell them how Maddie slept with Stephan Stearns? She sent Maddie to bed with Stephan, and many times Maddie slept with her and Stephan. Would you put your daughter in the middle of a bed if you knew that your boyfriend Nectar had on maybe boxers, maybe nothing? You know, men wake up with wood, and your daughter is climbing on them like a monkey, putting her legs over, moving through the bed. Would you ever have your child in that bed? Would you ever send your child to bed with somebody like that? No, no, no. Right there, just hearing that she sent, I don't even care anything else. Hearing that Jenn sent Maddie to bed with Stephan made me want her arrested. Then you start digging in with the rest of it. And obviously excuses, but why would you do that? So the three of them slept together, but Maddie wasn't on top of her then, right? Or Stephan? Stephan, yeah, she wasn't with Stephan then. Yeah, just like Chinese family work for big smiles, but that when I'm I can't, I miss something. All right, let's listen to her lie.
Okay, the actual question
Exactly.
as to why she's sending her daughter to sleep upstairs with this man is, if you needed this kind of sleep
Hey,
previously to
mom.
when Stephan wasn't there, what would happen? And look at this absolute deception architecture paragraph. She's essentially refused to answer it and used a manipulative gaslighting type of technique that she's probably quite.
I love that he's saying that. And you know who she's gaslighting? The victim, Madeline Soto. Lacey says, is Jenn all there? She is all there. Her mental state not meaning anything. And that's cool, Lacey. That's cool that you asked that because she does have anxiety and all the other things. But I had to really dig in and ask her roommate. Her roommate was also like a friend of Juan. When the roommate lived there and hung out with Jenn, she said she went to lunch with her. She hung out generally with her and Maddie just in the house. I asked that specific question: is something wrong with Jenn? Is she really just an evil potato, or is something wrong with her and she just missed all this? No, that she is manipulative and there's nothing wrong with her. Now, her mental state is probably not all there. She's probably nervous. She probably was nervous that she's going to get caught with what's happening with her and Stephan and with all of the medication she takes. But I assure you, Jenn Soto is all there. She knows what she's doing. And just because she has anxiety, it doesn't excuse anything. All right. Angela, your mom comes in I love my mom. You guys don't forget we are going to CrimeCon next year, 2026. Two of the mods already got their tickets, guys. So we got Synth and Tiff already set up to go to CrimeCon 2026. We'll put something together so we can meet and greet and all that. And Mama Pearl's going to be there as well. Thank you. All right, let's go.
Good at, which is to bamboozle the person who isn't used to spotting deception, but perhaps this detective is. But to many people, this bamboozling is how the deceiver gets away with it. And she hasn't even answered the question. Can you see how this is entirely fragmented? And we don't see this pattern in honest statements. So you would immediately know that you're being lied to.
Yeah, Jane.
It depends. If I had missed my meds the way I missed them that night, and I wasn't feeling, or I was feeling just how I was feeling, I'm not sure if I would have her sleep. Have her sleep with me on the other side of the bed, or if I would have sent her upstairs to the guest room. But she sleeps like a monkey. She rolls. She'll sort of run into the bed and end up on top of me by the end of the night. And she's a gymnast, I guess.
That was an inconvenient question, but I must ask you, we know for sure that Maddie slept in the middle of those two often. Why didn't they say, well, why would you put her in the middle if she moved like that? I don't think they really knew that. I don't think Jenn told them any of that. I don't think the pictures indicated that, because if the pictures did indicate that, Jenn would have been arrested. Had they found any pictures with Jenn Soto involved in any of the CSAM, she wouldn't be free. I highly doubt it. All right.
So can you see how that can rapidly go over your head and almost appear like she's answering, but she's not. She's practiced at this deception architecture.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever sent her upstairs to sleep?
No, not for any of these reasons.
No, she wouldn't.
Have you?
It's okay, Sadie's mom.
So those who are more aware of the case, have you ever sent her upstairs to sleep? And she says no. Not for any of these reasons.
Okay, so she lied right out of the bat, and then she tried to change it. Now, officers do know that's a lie, and I think that's why she came back and kind of left it open. The reason they know it's a lie is because they have CSAM pictures with times and dates on them, right?
These reasons being this complete deception paragraph.
Yeah.
Which doesn't have any reasons. So if you know in the comments if this is a complete lie, please do say so and why, with some reasoning behind it and evidence if you have that.
Yes, absolutely.
Ever sent her upstairs to sleep by herself?
So here.
That too.
Here she says, I think the truth. Alone?
Absolutely.
Buying or thinking time? He says, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Mars bars.
She says no.
Hit that like button, y'all.
Doesn't feel the need to add to it. So I think this is true. But if Stephan's there, then I think the answer is yes. But alone, no.
Now, let me tell you something real quick, and then we'll get back to this. The upstairs room, Maddie absolutely had when Juan lived there all by herself, because no matter what anyone says about Juan, I don't know much about him, but I do hear that he loved Maddie and wouldn't want her in any kind of harm's way. He would have put a foot in Jenn's ass, in my opinion. had he known that she got rid of Maddie's room and put Stephan in there and did the thing she did. I don't think he knew any of that. I know that he knew Maddie had a room before he left. All right. Kelly Yulo, love you from Daytona Beach. Shout out from Florida. All right, let's finish what she's saying here. Have you ever sent her upstairs? They know that's a lie because they have pictures and times.
Do you see the difference? So
Jenn for the pen. I like that.
she only sends her upstairs so she can sleep when Stephan's there. So the she can sleep excuse doesn't hold, because when Stephan's not there,
Appreciate you, Marissa. Thank
the
you.
answer is no. Do you see?
I don't remember
Which
that. I
means,
don't know why I don't remember that.
well, I think we know what that means. No.
Let me see what he's saying. Investigator, have you ever sent her to sleep upstairs or upstairs to sleep? No, not like for any of these reasons. So I think she's backtracking, saying not for her needing to sleep. That was the only night ever. All right. And investigators say, have you ever sent her upstairs to sleep by herself alone? And she says, no. Okay. So she's probably telling the truth, but she probably sent her up there alone with Stephan. So that's the no, technically not, but by herself. And let me tell you something. The CSAM pictures, guys, none of those pictures backdated to when Juan lived there. So I want you guys to know that the abuse, the documented abuse of Madeline Soto happened just shortly after Juan Soto and Jenn's roommate moved out, almost immediately after the CSAM started or documented at that. Thank you, Lady for Justice. Thank Lady Justice, guys, for the Guilty of Crime membership. And Sin B, thank you. Thank you for sending me a super sticker. I appreciate you. You guys, and hit that like button if you would. All right.
Alone? No. So the excuse that I needed to sleep, it doesn't hold, does it?
Yeah.
The only time she's sent upstairs is when Stephan is there.
See? So she wasn't alone. She answered that,
Awful.
right?
Okay, let's carry on.
Yes, when Maddie was.
I really need to grab this.
Ah, right. So the lawyer. I think the lawyer has also cottoned on to this, because he says, okay, I'm going to need to wrap this up. Interesting.
Hey, Mars Bars.
This is her lawyer, I think.
Okay, I'm gonna need to wrap.
I think the lawyer.
It is. It's like an hour and 1 minute. And everybody that's in chat, we appreciate your opinions about this. And when the truth is all revealed, when this is said and done, when there's a presser, then I hope people that were either right about it or not right about it can come together and say, hey, we all did this together no matter what happened. We put Jenn in the spotlight and whatever. Or whatever we're going to say to a conclusion. So I see people jumping into chat saying the complete opposite of what we are. And I appreciate you guys for not going on the attack and saying, no. Everybody can have their own opinions. We're basing our opinions on evidence and what we see. Melissa, shout out to you. Much love. All right, let's finish this up.
Through his experience, has seen the mistake. But yeah, with Stephan there, not like
Wow.
not. And the negative things are twice as important as a general principle for any of these reasons. And there were no real reasons. It was a pig's ear of excuses and deception and gaslighting. But then when the detective says, have you ever sent her upstairs to sleep by herself, alone? Alone? He says,
Right, which just means he's trying to figure out if she sent her regularly. And yes, Clara, I do remember that. Really odd that they moved 2 hours away from everyone during COVID. So that's a problem too. That abuse could have just been running rampant at that time, and that was 2020, right? She 4 years later, her life was gone. It just wasn't documented at that particular condo. Let me make that clear real quick. So I do remember, but the documentation of the CSAM at that condo didn't occur until after Juan Soto and the roommate moved out. All right. What's up, Holly? Good to see you. Much love.
no. I think the lawyer has cottoned on and sees the danger and is protecting his client, which is fair enough.
Right.
But the point is, if he's cottoned on,
hey, Helen
so
from
have we.
Australia. What's up? Good to see you.
Okay, let's see what happens next.
Okay, one more question. Does anybody use your phone other than you?
No, except for the day that we were sitting in front of my house and forensics was in the house. That was the only time I ever let anyone use my phone, and that was Stephan. Stephan had my phone.
What about, do you wear an Apple Watch?
Yes.
Does it track any of your movements or anything like that that you know of? Do you sleep with your watch?
Okay, let's just stop before we get too far ahead. So
I guess he's trying to come in with the hard questions before this wraps up, right? Because the lawyer's like, let me wrap this up. And the investigator has a specific set of questions that he's asking. And Jenn's not giving any answers that we would. I mean, we expect her not to give any real good answers. She doesn't give any new information that would help to prosecute Stephan, and she doesn't give any information that would put her in a negative light. She tries to stick to the script that she said, not go outside of it, and just be careful, which is why she brought a lawyer, right? So he's wrapping up his questions, and this is what he's asking. There's a reason why. There must be some kind of movements that night that were out of the ordinary for her, and I wonder what evidence they have, which we're not going to know for a long, long time, if ever, what evidence they have until they release it, if they release it.
He asks, does anybody use your phone other than you? No, except for the day that we were sitting in front of my house and forensics was in the house. I believe this was when they were sitting in the car for hours together.
Thank you, Teresa. If I didn't say
Stephan and Jenn Soto. That was the only time I've ever,
because she's a potato.
So we are always looking out for this word ever.
No. Hey, Lori, good to see you.
In forensic linguistics, because never and ever are nearly always in some shape or form deceptive. And here we've got the ever, so it's twice, it's repeated. I've ever.
And obviously, she obviously wants them to steer away from that by saying that, right? I've never ever, like, let's make this clear. And Evelina missed. We do a call-in show. Usually we do a call-in show on Friday, and we want to see what you guys have to say. Tomorrow is day 5 of 5, Jenn Soto in the spotlight. I'm going to run another analytical video about why Jenn Soto should be arrested and put her in the spotlight, as well as let you guys call in to see what you think and get it all out, guys, because like every time I talk to you about this case and I say we're not going to cover things for a while until either new information comes out that's interesting or informative in the case, because I'm not just going to cover Stephan drank coffee today, Stephan didn't shower today. I'm just not that interested in what Stephan's grooming habits or what he's drinking. I really just don't care about that. I'd so much rather fill you guys in on what happened to the baby Miracle that got tossed in the dumpster. Where is she? Who was arrested? What happened? I've got so many cases to update you on and cover. So again, tomorrow will be day 5 of 5. Last day, we're going to be covering this Soto case until something new comes out or till the media picks up on the story and we say, hey, here's the spotlight. But it's coming soon. So tomorrow I'm going to give you guys the opportunity to say what you want to say. All right. That's a call-in show. All right. Because I'm tired of telling my sister to comment for me, Mighty Joe. You're going to get your sister in trouble commenting. Okay. Get yourself a membership. You might get gifted.
Ever let anyone use my phone. So the fact that she let Stephan use the phone is highly, highly important.
Yes, it is.
And that was Stephan. Stephan had my phone. I wonder what he was doing.
Yay. We love your
We
husband.
know Jenn Soto had helped Stephan reset his phone to factory settings and had come up with a very weak statement about that. So she's very concerned about the phones.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Madeline's phone, she called when it was in her possession, possibly as an abandoned evidence chain, a digital footprint that perhaps was part of the plan initially, but they abandoned. So she had Madeline's phone and called it and said she forgot that she had Madeline's phone. I personally think it was an abandoned digital footprint plan.
I absolutely think that she helped destroy the images, you guys. Absolutely freaking lootly. The way she answered that question and what her and Stephan chatted about while he erased his phone. Absolutely she did. Jay, your channel flow is unmatched. Thank you, Lisa Lee. I appreciate that. Tomorrow we will talk about this case and how we think it might move forward. And if you guys have anything to say, I'd like to know tomorrow for sure. So definitely come back. We're going to finish this up today and then we're on day 5 of 5. But don't go anywhere because we're not done yet. RL, good to see you.
Very, very sensitive about the phones. Okay, let's carry on.
No, I have the thing.
Right, the Apple Watch. The detective asks, what about, do you wear an Apple Watch? Yes. Does it track any of your movements or anything like that you know of? Or anything like that you know of? Apologies. Do you sleep with your watch on? No. I hardly ever put it on, honestly. So she doesn't want the watch looked at. I wonder if the watch was ever looked at.
I love that she doesn't want the watch looked at. And I think she probably says that honestly so that she, in the back of her mind, can think of, damn, did I have the watch on? Did I wear it previously? And yeah, good question. I don't remember seeing the watch or any of that on the evidence. I do remember there being 4 phones they took into evidence. 4, I think maybe one was a burner, one was Maddie's, one was Jenn's, one was Stephan's. Did they take the second phone? I'm sure from Stephan. Anyway, I hope they look at that again. I really do. All right, guys, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't, get a membership if you can. Tomorrow's going to be day 5, and we'll do call-ins.
But she doesn't want it looked at.
You got the time? The time of what? Oh, you got the on the watch?
All right. Do you have anything real quick in here? Do you have anything that you think we should know about? Matthews? Oh, for sure. Go down there? Yeah, I'm good. All right, it's 10:06 a.m. We will conclude the investigative interview with Minnesota.
Okay.
The following interview.
Okay, so that's the end of the forensic linguistic analysis of Jenn Soto's immunity police analysis. Okay, so if you haven't already subscribed, please do. Please hit the notification bell. Please consider joining the Veriscope channel as a member.
Definitely. I don't know why I missed that last point. Hold on real quick. And Lori Lowe. I'm from California, born and raised from California. All right. I was muted on purpose. I'm not muted anymore. Baby Guilty came in, and when Baby Guilty comes in, I mute. All right. I was talking to her, not y'all. All right. There we go. Let me just hear what he said, and then I'll see what you guys are saying.
Of Jenn Soto's immunity police
Okay.
analysis. Okay, so if you haven't already subscribed,
Okay, yeah. If you haven't subscribed to him, go subscribe. I think this is a really good interview to wrap up the immunity. We have another one that we'll be covering tomorrow, and the whole point is to hashtag arrest Jenn Soto. We're trying to get that initiative going and make this move. Either way, whatever happens, we need to make it move. And yeah, I appreciate you guys for being here. We are doing justice for Maddie. I think the only way that will feel like justice has prevailed is if Jenn Soto gets locked up. I think many of you agree that she was involved in it. And let's say there's not one iota of this that she was involved in. Let's say they don't find evidence. We still feel like she shouldn't be having more children. She doesn't know how to take care of them. She handed Maddie to a monster, but I don't think that's the case, guys. I really think that these pointed questions are going to give law enforcement something to really look at, something that is a bigger case than what we might think. Precious Love, shocking case, but now it is her protector and covering for her. But now is her. Oh, I got you. You take a check, and don't shot the messenger. That's so funny. All right, guys, the truth always comes out eventually. I hope so. I never want to say that because you just never know what's going to happen. So anyhow, much love, Rosie. I'm glad you're back. We're all done. Don't forget, guys, hit that like and share this with your friends and family. Please know that our initiative is to get Jenn Soto arrested and for her to be in the spotlight. All right. Yeah, we would not. Someone would get her pregnant. Truth be had, Jenn Soto lives are very miserable. Life good. California, East Bay. All right. And who is going to CrimeCon? Anybody going to CrimeCon? Allie, you're in Las Vegas. You going to CrimeCon? Love your channel. I don't know why the Sotos don't. I know, right? What if I want to give the Sotos a Foxy box? You guys don't want a Foxy box? Stephanie? Yolanda? Jen? No? Okay. All right, guys. I love you. And it's time for me to go clean up some baby guilty messes. Love you guys. And I'll see you tomorrow, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 7 p.m. Eastern. Be ready to call in. Be ready with your questions, comments, all that. And right, we're all respectful. We can agree to disagree. If you have a separate opinion, just be respectful. All right, love you guys. Have a good night. See you soon.
Guilty of crime.
I want to thank you for watching. If you enjoyed my content, please share this video, like, and subscribe. You can also follow me over at Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, X, or Gmail. If you'd like to donate to my channel, you can use Cash App or Venmo or PayPal. Thank you very much in advance. Guilty of crime.
Are you guilty of crime?